This
Hello, and
is
welcome to the Bad Vibes Podcast.
I'm Scott, Kelly's friend, Andrew Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Weaver's friend, Scott Kelly.
And we're the hosts with the most
Roast.
Bad Pipers. We're the Bad Pipers.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd been doing so good about intros, and
that's our best one yet, for sure.
All right, so this week we got news, and then we're going to talk about these amazing Snow White production photos that came out, and then after that, we're going to do our review of Solo.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
And then we're also going to get sidetracked many times.
Probably.
As we do. All right. The news. The newsy news. Big news. Actors went on strike. What do you think about that?
Yeah. In solidarity with the writers. So, hey, you know.
Yep. Sounds
Pretty
like
cool.
they are also mad about AI.
Yeah, I was reading. Are you a Black Mirror fan? Do you watch Black Mirror at all?
God, it took everything in me not to be like, I prefer White Mirror.
Jesus.
No, yeah, I like Black Mirror. I haven't watched like the last two seasons. After they did the one episode that was like, it's all connected, I was like, oh, you jumped the shark, I'm done.
Oh, I don't even remember. Some of them are really forgettable. No, so there was like a pitch for it sounds like studios or streaming services or somebody was like trying to draft up like a whole, basically like, you, for a fraction of what they normally get paid, like, actors just sign away the rights to their appearance and they just AI it into the movies, you know?
Yeah.
Or the shows, which I'm bringing Black Mirror up because there was an episode recently.
It's like everyone hates Joan or something like that.
Yep. So, I don't know if you know the premise of it, but this...
That's actually the one episode of this season that I watched.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's literally like, that's the shit they're pulling right now, is
and
like...
I watched it because of, not the main girl, but the girl that plays her in the next level up or whatever.
Salma Hayek?
Yeah, I watched it because of Salma Hayek.
Are you just you're a big Salma Hayek fan?
Not a little one.
Well, either way.
I just think that she has a long storied history with acting, and that she's got a lot of talent and a lot of appreciable assets.
Yeah.
And did you know she's like 8 or 10 years older than Angelina Jolie?
Damn, that's wild.
And she looks like 8 or 10 years younger than Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, she's on that like Jennifer Aniston, adrenochrome type shit, you know.
No, I just think she's got good genes.
I'm just trying to rile up our you know, the QAnon conspiracy theorists out there.
Oh yeah. Our one Berliner listener who's a QAnoner.
They're just like, yeah, I swear those celebs are just like cutting up little kids and just smothering their
I don't
blood
know why.
on.
This is a little behind baseball right now, or whatever the fucking term for it is, but like, we routinely will get like at least one episode or one listen per episode from people in Berlin.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know why.
We've
Berlin,
got fans.
big on the podcast scene.
Hey. We got fans. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that just made me think that. But yeah, I think that's part of it, is because I know that was a lot of the writers' issue, was like AI and shit just taking over.
Yeah.
They want to make sure their
What's
job's
funny
secure.
is that in our one deleted episode that no one will ever hear, whenever you, me, and Nolan recorded, we talked about like how quickly will this become an issue, right?
That's true. I wish we could get that footage back, or the audio for that, because that was a good
Gone
episode.
forever. Gone
Yeah,
to the
it
ether.
sucks. Maybe we just redo it. Maybe we get a different third guest in, and we just redo a segment on AI and shit.
Yeah, I mean, we're about
Probably
at a
not.
point where we could up something. I mean, we've talked about AI before, but
We should find someone who's like. I feel like I have to have a friend or some sort of connection to someone who's like actively works in like the field.
yeah, maybe.
At least through Casey. She knows so many people who do random shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think a lot of it too was as far as the writers go, it's the royalties they're earning off of streaming, because I can't remember whose podcast it was. I think it might have been Hassan's, or he had some television writer on there who was explaining. He was like, yeah, like he wrote something for like cable television. He was like, yeah, like I get my like royalty checks from that. They'd be like 5-10 grand, or I think it was like 20 grand or something crazy, something absurd. And he was just like, which that's not really that absurd if you're writing for a major like show, or something that's doing well. I think you deserve to get, you should get what you deserve. But he was explaining, yeah, I think it was like 20 grand or something. He was like, yeah, this was great because like that's just like I use that to like pay my rent, like just like have my rent paid off that way. Like,
well, that's the thing too, right? Is like people aren't writing something like that 7, 8, 9 times a year. It's
exactly.
Like
so it's like
maybe twice.
Yeah, so it's like you get that big payday, and that's giving you breathing room to continue your pursuit, to continue writing and furthering your career. And so he was explaining, he's like, yeah, you get like a royalty check from like a streaming service, even if it's like something that's huge and streamed super consistently. He's like, yeah, it's a couple $100. It's like $500 or something.
Yeah.
Like it's a fraction of what you used to get from cable television.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's kind of like, I mean, I don't know what things are like now, but I remember back in the day, you get like on YouTube, right? YouTube would be, you'd get like 100 views and earn like 1 cent, but they wouldn't send you a check until you had earned like
a certain
$10 worth.
Yeah.
Which, when you do the math on that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm not getting a check anytime soon.
Yeah.
For $10, right? And these streaming services are like, I think even worse than that, And that, coupled with the fact that a lot of these shows aren't getting more than like 100,000, 200,000 views, per episode. Things aren't what they can or should be. There's also just a glut, like an absolute ton of content out now,
Yeah. Well, in this, I think this was also, I think it was Hassan who I was watching explaining this, because I think this comes to the so back in like the OG days of YouTube, like I was a huge Smosh fan. I don't know if you watched Smosh. I
probably
remember
videos, but I didn't like go out of my way to watch them or anything.
No, I remember there were times I just sit and binge their videos on YouTube. So like I was a fan back then. This is like middle school, because I don't know, that was kind of the humor back then. And I just remember him talking about.
Yeah, was that like 20 years ago?
Fuck. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's literally fucking 20 years ago.
Coming up,
some shit like that. Yeah, holy shit. Because they just reunited, like finally. Or
I got recommended a video that was like, we bought Smosh.
Yeah, so we could get into that. That's a kind of a good topic to talk about. But before we move on to that, so Hassan was talking about how like back in the day, like there was a point. It's not as much now, but like because they had the whole adpocalypse thing happen. But before adpocalypse, YouTubers were fucking raking it in. Like before the ad owners like really got kind of You know, they
Yeah,
got
back in the
they,
Fortnite days.
yeah, when once the ad owners and the people putting out the ads got wise to, like, you know, some of this not being family friendly content or whatever, and they don't support that. That was the whole apocalypse thing. But like, it's insane how much some of those OG YouTubers used to make.
Yeah.
But the Smosh thing was like, they got big, they were making decent money, but they didn't like. They were kind of like one of the first ones. They were definitely like one of like originals. Some of the first like ever viral videos, and they just didn't know how to further it. And there wasn't really a roadmap or any sort of there wasn't the resources there are now. And so it was kind of like they got an offer from like or got with a media company, and like they sold to a media company that took them over.
Yeah.
And that was like they started doing it, and then Anthony Padilla.
That's the same thing with like Rooster Teeth.
Yeah. Well,
and then
probably
Rooster
Machinima.
Teeth started buying up a bunch of people. Actually, it was in response to Machinima, because Machinima kind of like, if you've been on the internet for any amount of time on that side of the internet, you've heard tons of people be like, "Oh, I've got horror stories from like working at Machinima or whatever," you know, and it just being like generally a not good atmosphere. And then that's why people like branched out and went off and did their own thing. Like you and I are old men. We used to watch The Creatures. That's how they got their start.
Yeah, they had Cow Chop and all
Brett
that.
Hundar, who's been in, I think, both of the Creator Clash boxing things, unless he didn't partake in the second one, because I think he like broke his arm or something.
Yeah.
That's how he worked for Machinima.
Yeah, I remember that.
A lot of the guys that were part of Funhouse were like Machinima guys.
Yeah, wasn't like Hutch and Seenanners and all of them were involved in Machinima too. Yeah. Yeah, so no, but that was like the whole Smosh thing. Anthony Padilla just hated being sold out and hated not having control, or like didn't feel creative enough, so he went off and did his own thing. And then Ian stayed with Smosh, and that company eventually went under completely. And like apparently they were just like at work and like didn't have a talk with him or like any of the other like people that basically just like sent an email being like, "Hey, as of right now, like we're bankrupt." Like just while they were at work.
Yep. And by the way, we're bankrupt. None of you are getting paid for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he said it was literally just chaos. Like they were like breaking shit. People were just like taking like wardrobe and stuff from like the costume room, and just like he said it was just anarchy. I don't know if you know Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning. They bought them out after that, and then finally Anthony and Ian got, you know, kind of came together.
There was a
and
point in time where you could not like click on YouTube without getting recommended like 10 or 12 Rhett and Link videos, Good Mythical Morning videos.
Yeah, I do like their Good Mythical Morning series, and I think it was cool that like they bought. I think it was cool how they bought Smosh, and then they were willing to like make a deal with Anthony and Ian once they kind of like got back together and were like, "Hey, we want to re-own Smosh," and now they do. So yeah, it's kind of come full circle. Maybe
like a year ago, the same kind of thing happened with Jake and Amir. They were able to actually buy back Jake and Amir, which is so funny that your name can be the title of your show and someone else
buys it out and owns it. Yeah, that's so wild.
You literally you cannot make another show called Jake and Amir because they bought your show with your name on it.
Just name it Amir and Jake, you know?
Yeah, well, they bought it, and I think they've got, I don't think it's on YouTube, but I think they have their own website that like hosts all that stuff now.
Yeah. Just, you know, in
paywalled like everything else in life.
In before we sell bad pipes to some media company for a huge like couple $1 million payout.
Yeah.
Once we get huge,
you always hear about them podcast deals where people buy a podcast for a couple $1 million. Yep, for sure. We would. Yeah. We'd sell out.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. For millions, I'd sell out.
You mean to tell me I can make $1 million? Gone. Written off. See ya.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a news story that broke literally like 4 hours ago. Kind of blew my mind. Las Vegas police have gotten a warrant, searched a house in Las Vegas in conjunction or in connection with the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, wild.
I read that.
27 years after his murder.
Wow. What the fuck?
Yeah, 1996.
Wow. For some reason, in my head, I just thought he died before I was even alive.
Dude, I did too until I literally just read that. So, yeah, I guess I was 3 years old. Wild.
I can't believe that we were that we were alive at the same time Tupac was, and that we lived for so long that now he performs as a hologram.
Yeah. Oh, man.
How long before AI Tupac starts writing new raps?
Not long at all, I guarantee it. I guarantee you can already go online and find someone who has taken and AI'd his voice to create new songs. It's for sure already out there.
Anyway, not much more to go with that. But
yeah,
breaking news.
It's a developing story. We'll any updates, we'll bring it to you right away.
Yeah, we're gonna stay on top of this Tupac Shakur case. Gonna give you every. If anything else comes out before the next time we're supposed to record an article, or a episode, I'll specially record something where I go into the details of it.
Perfect.
People are gonna be like, "What's this 5-minute episode on a Wednesday?"
What do we got next?
Next news: Oppenheimer and Barbie's opening this weekend.
Yeah.
Sounds like both of them are pretty well received by the critics.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see any reviews for Oppenheimer yet. But Barbie had an 89% with only like 70 something critic reviews. Oh no, wait, it's up to 92 now. Some other reviews have dropped recently.
Damn.
So, yeah.
Shit's getting crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Barbie looked kind of fun. It looks very, I think, in my opinion, it looks kind of like tongue-in-cheek, very a little sarcastic, sort of. Maybe satire. Yeah, satirical degree. For sure. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that goes. And then yeah, Oppenheimer with its what's the IMAX reel thing that everyone's going on about? It's like 17 miles long or something.
It's like you got to go see this in the IMAX, but not any IMAX. This one specific IMAX, and I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
I was talking about. Oh, okay, yeah, here it is. It's so the 70 millimeter film reel for the IMAX weighs 600 pounds.
That's a lot of pounds.
And is 11 miles long.
That's a lot of miles.
Yeah. I think our music is digitizing.
Is it?
For me, it is.
Hold on. Oh. All right. Well, what were you saying though? 17 miles long.
11 miles long. 600 pounds.
That's a lot. That's more than I've got.
That's a lot.
What are you gonna see it in that IMAX?
Do we? I don't even. Do we have an? I'm assuming we have an IMAX theater here. There's an AMC near the house here. It's like 5 minutes from the house, which is nice. Yeah, it looks like there's. It looks like there's an IMAX theater. Maybe.
Yeah, I know there's one. There's one for us over in Orlando, but I guess our music died. Rest in peace, music.
RIP. Let's see. it started back up.
This is gonna be the best part of the podcast so far.
Yeah.
They're like, finally, the idiot shut up. Yeah, I don't know.
Is this? Oh, so they've got one. It's all the way in fucking Kansas. Well, I say that, but Kansas is literally like, I can walk to Kansas from the house. But yeah, there's one. There's one around here.
I don't even know.
I don't know if it's the real proper one though, because apparently, you got to see it in a certain format of IMAX for it to be the right way to view it.
Yeah, I got no clue. Last thing I saw in IMAX was Dune though, so
yeah,
do recommend. Anyway, that's all we really had for news.
Yeah, that was it. Is that? Oh, yeah. I guess it's not really news, but we were gonna get into the Snow White.
Snow White production photos and video leaking, leak-ageddon. So, have you seen these production images from Snow White?
I looked them up after you mentioned something about them.
What are your initial thoughts on those images?
So, okay. I think she looks good as Snow White.
That's a stand-in, by the way. That's not actually Rachel Ziegler.
Well,
just for the record.
Okay, well, I think the stand-in and Rachel Ziegler look fine as Snow White. Fine with the casting there. Here's my thing. This right here. That. You see that?
Gotta click a different tab.
Yeah, you see that? You see that? You see that image?
The 7 mythical beings.
This image, this could just be any random picture from a music festival I go to.
It looks like an odd version of the the YMCA people, the village people.
I'm just like, I look at this and I'm like, this could just be, you could tell me that this is people standing out in a field at a music festival and I would believe you.
If you said visually describe Disco Ren Fair, what I described would probably be the picture of the 7 mythical beings, who are not all dwarves, by the way.
Yeah,
according to some quotes from production, I guess. Although there is one individual with dwarfism, I believe, portraying.
So no, these are no longer
dwarf.
You no longer have the 7 dwarves. You have the 7 mythical beings. The 7 magical creatures, or whatever they're calling it.
I think they're still people. Right? Are people
maybe
creatures?
I don't know.
Creatures people, dude?
Yeah, I don't know. Here's what it is. It's Snow White and living in New York City with her 7 grimy roommates. That's rent's expensive. You got to put 8 people in together to afford the rent. So, I don't. It literally
just in the back with the fucking hoodie on makes me the most angry. I don't know why.
He just no. That's what I'm saying. He looks like a regular New York City hipster.
Looks like a cow. First off, I hate those cowled hoodies. I hate them.
Yeah. He's got the cowled hoodie on with the jacket over. He's got the skinny jeans.
You can't see his shoes, but his shoes look like, I don't know how else to describe it, but medievalized Nikes.
Yeah. So from my understanding, this change, the idea behind this comes from an interview. Well, speculative interview. People are speculating. It comes from the interview with Peter Dinklage saying, "Oh, I'm cool with them. It shouldn't be dwarves. Like, I'm cool with them doing it, but I forget what he said. Something about
the quote something like, "Oh, they're still doing this backwards fucking story" or something like that, and basically complaining about like dwarves.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. He said he's cool with them doing it, but they need to do it like progressive, like super progressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think eventually I'll get around to that point, but
yeah.
So, have you heard like some of the controversy about whenever these came out?
Not really.
All right. So, like the pictures got leaked, and like immediately Disney was like, "These are fake," and a bunch of news sources like Variety and a couple other ones were like, "These are fake. These are fake. These are fake." And then like literally later that same day, it was like, "Nope, they're real." Like here's video footage as well, and then like all of Disney's statements got amended to be like, yeah, these are real, but that's not Rachel Ziegler, and some of those are like stand-ins for like cast members, and which like stand-ins aren't uncommon. Typically, if you're watching a movie and you see someone like walking through a field, it's not the actual actor, it's a stand-in. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, so like it was confirmed it was real, and it was just a wild roller coaster that day.
Yeah. From what I've heard is there's a lot of backlash, especially amongst the people with dwarfism, trying to make it in the acting biz, because they're just kind of like, okay, why does Peter Dinklage speak for all of us?
First off, I want to address something else, because I've heard that there's been a ton of complaints from like right-wingers about like race swapping and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I honestly have not heard much, if anything, about that. And for someone who's like terminally online, I think that says a lot.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything about that.
It seems like they once again, like, people don't like the choices that are made here with, like, costuming and whatnot. And people are trying to sweep under, again, I'm just going to call it the racist rug. They're like, no. All of those are just racism. And they're throwing the racism rug over these, like, actual complaints about things.
Yeah. No, because, I've just heard that there's a lot... Again, a lot of people... Just basically saying that they're taking, essentially him speaking out and doing this and them making this decision has taken jobs away from other people with dwarfism to get an acting job. Like you.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of notes on that I wrote down just as like thoughts and things.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does take opportunity away from them. Like
I wrote a silly little monologue though. Do you wanna hear it?
Sure.
So I think the people associated with this production are a bunch of cowards. They should have been an all-Korean production of Snow White, with the exception of Snow White, who should have been played by Lupita Nyong'o, who should also be cast as Luke when they get around to remaking the original Star Wars to be more in line with modern audiences. What do you think about that?
Jesus Christ.
These fucking cowards. They still picked someone who was like... They picked, like, the whitest Latina that you could get.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, and this is like a minor gripe on my side, but, like, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves is a German folklore, right? If it was any other culture, people would have been like, oh, this absolutely has to be played by German people, right? So like in the current socio-political climate, it is a little weird to be like, oh, we can't find a German actress to portray Snow White, because I'm not even saying like an American actress, I'm saying like literally anyone from Germany. I don't care if you pick a freaking one of the tons of immigrants or anything in Germany.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say here? I just think it's silly. Everything about this is silly. It's fucking Snow White. Why are we even making this movie?
That's. Can we stop just recycling old ideas and turning them into live action? Like, can we just give us something new? Like, stop spending. They're spending all this money in production to do a fucking remake.
Yeah.
That no one fucking asked for.
And no one's gonna like.
Who? My real question is, who is saying?
Half of America is conservatives, right? And conservatives, just as a bunch of ding-dongs, are going to go, they put black people in Snow White, I'm not watching it, you know? And it's stupid, but like...
Well, and half of them are anti-Disney anyways, because they're just like, Herder fucking Disney supports the LGBTQ agenda, and... you know, if they're
DeSantis nonsense.
Yeah, if they're a DeSantis supporter, then
stupid slap fight.
Yeah, so
to kind of like ground it though, like joking aside, I just think this is like several odd production choices heaped on top of each other. Like the costuming is bad.
Oh yeah, the costuming is real bad.
Dwarves being replaced by like magical creatures is bad, and like if you don't want to cast people with dwarfism, use forced perspective like the freaking Hobbit and Lord of the Rings movies did.
That's what I was
Better
say.
Yet, like I think you were kind of getting around to, is like cast actors with dwarfism or comparable medical conditions and like give them opportunities. Like Warwick Davis only became a household name because of like George Lucas and Lucasfilm casting him in things. An example, like pretty much every Star Wars movie at this point, and Willow, and like I really disagree with Peter Dinklage here. Like he built his career on like dwarfism and playing these roles, which he would probably argue is like the only roles he could get because of how backwards the industry is, and I would agree with him there.
Yeah.
But like, and I'm not the only person who said this, but it feels like he's closing the door on other people with the same or similar.
He's taking away their opportunity. Like he's denying them opportunity that he was afforded with roles that you know.
Yeah, and like I mentioned Warwick Davis already, but like Vern Troyer, who was Mini-Me in Austin Powers, or Tony Cox, I believe, was the guy in Bad Santa, or like 1981's Time Bandits had like 6 dwarves, and that's like a classic like sci-fi fantasy kind of thing. And like all these opportunities for actors would just be lost because like it's now politically incorrect to cast little people as dwarves in fantasy productions. Like it just kind of rankles me.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm certainly open to conversation about that, but like
yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you there.
Because I hate to be that guy, but like if you cast a dwarf, sorry, I don't even know what's the proper term now. Little people. I don't know.
I don't know.
If you cast someone with medical dwarfism or a comparable medical condition in a role where they're just playing like a normal person, people are gonna like. I feel like not addressing that's going on is like inadvertently gonna turn the entire movie like into being about that in some way. Like I think that's what people kind of feel like, and so they're like, oh well, this is a difficult conversation, so let's just like avoid it completely.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like they were doing here. But then they still cast one, and I'm really interested to hear if he goes like, yeah, I'm a dwarf in the movie.
So yeah, I don't know.
Also, Peter Dinklage made his career on being a dwarf. Like,
yeah,
not just like having dwarfism, but like he plays
Tyrion Lannister, or
even in the Avengers movie, he plays a giant dwarf.
Yeah, he plays.
I don't know if he like. Who would argue that it's okay that he's a dwarf because he's like a super big one, but
yeah,
he's still a dwarf.
He plays like, who's it? Like Brock Sindri, one of them, one of the 2 dwarves who.
Yeah, like one of the master craftsman people.
Yeah, one of the ones from Norse mythology. I think it's Brock and Sindri who are the ones that are like forged Mjolnir.
Yeah, I don't know. But kind of like you were saying, like, why does he speak for all of them?
Yeah, because I think
Why does some ding dong on the internet speak for me because they're white and they don't like something, and I'm white and I'm fine with it, you know?
Yeah.
I just think the costuming's stupid in this picture. And the more I look at it, the more angry I get about the costume.
No, again, when I'm telling you, this looks like just a fucking crowd at a music festival.
The second dude in the line with the afro and the like John Travolta 70s collar. I don't know why that shirt makes me so mad, but I hate that shirt.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fan of any of this costume, the costuming on this.
Like, it's almost good, right? Like the girl who's like second to last in line, and I hope I'm not assuming anything by saying the girl, the pants, the coat, like, you're getting close to what the style should be for like an early Renaissance kind of thing. But then, like, you modernize it with these stupid cowl hoodies, and it looks stupid.
Yeah. How about the guy at the very front that's like cut off? The dude, he looks like the most average looking dude, and he's just like all blue. He's just wearing all blue.
I can't see him in this picture, but I just remember not liking.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, there's 8. There's 8. There's 8 people.
Well, one of them has to be the huntsman, right?
Oh, maybe he's the huntsman.
Just kidding, dude. They're not gonna put the huntsman in this movie because a man can't save a woman in a Disney movie. You fool! You fell for my trap card.
Hold on. I got this. Hold on. Give me a second. Snipping tool. I'll send you the. I'm putting it. It's right here. There it is. Boom. That guy. You see the guy in the very front?
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me when I grow my hair out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm 6'4". I would tower over these people.
I'm like,
especially the guy who would be in line after me if I was him.
Jesus.
Plus, everyone knows that actors are notoriously short. All right. Tom Cruise is 4'7". All right.
Are we not sure? Are we sure that the dude at the back isn't just some homeless guy who wandered onto the set?
They all look like homeless people who wandered on a set. They shot this in L.A., right?
Actually, no. This was
L.A. doesn't have that much grass.
It's in a field in England, apparently.
Oh.
Where was it? Bedfordshire, England is where that was. Yeah, Bedfordshire.
Bedfordshire. Yorkshire.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you think that we're wrong on this and you feel like you have a good point to make, feel free to email us at what's the email? cryptidworksofficial@gmail.com, and we'll definitely read your email, and if it merits discussion, we'll absolutely discuss it. Because I think this is a space where like conversation can and should be had, right?
Yeah, I would agree there.
All right, can we just get the Solo a Star Wars story already?
Yeah. I
think you know this movie came out in 2018.
Yes, I think I did. I did know that. Actually.
Did you know about the troubled production background of this movie?
I think we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, so we brought it up a little bit. So originally, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, I guess, filmed for like 6 months before being removed and replaced by Todd Howard, who then reshot at least 70% of the film, earning him the only directing credit. Oh my god, I keep burping. What's going on?
You good? You okay? You all right?
No, I'm dying. No. So Todd Howard reshot at least 70% of the film, earning him the only directing credit. Lord and Miller only got executive producer credits, but like they didn't challenge for director credit. Also, if you remember correctly, they left this production and then they went and worked on Into the Spider-Verse or whatever, that first the first animated Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh heck. What is his name in that? Not Peter Parker, but
Miles Morales?
Yeah, so they went and worked on that one, and it won a ton of awards. And then this movie turned out to be the only, so far, Star Wars flop. Interesting little footnote in history there. Also, this was written by Jonathan and Lawrence Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan's the guy that has worked on a bunch of the Star Wars stuff. But Jonathan is, I believe, his son. And he's listed first, implying that he was like the primary writer for it. He also wrote The Willow Show that has already been deleted by Disney. I don't know why this came up, but like Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are apparently they often rely on ad-libbing or improv for humor, because I guess they're seen as more of like humor directors or comedy directors. But their lead actor, Alden Ehrenreich, who plays Han Solo in this movie, apparently had a bunch of issues doing improv and was like so bad at it that they actually brought in an acting coach to like help him with the improv.
Jeez.
And whenever you hear that they were working like 16-hour days on the production and that like they were going into overtime like all the time, it just sounds bad. Something else that I learned was that Scott Eastwood got overlooked as a lead for this, which I think was a big freaking mistake in my opinion. Like, do you know who Scott Eastwood is?
Nope.
So Scott Eastwood, you might be familiar with his dad. His dad is Clint Eastwood, something of a little-known Hollywood actor, kind of a niche little guy, Clint Eastwood, known for a couple of films. Shut up. Quit barking. Clint Eastwood. They overlooked his son to play Han Solo. Also, Scott Eastwood looks almost just like his dad. And if you put Harrison Ford and Clint Eastwood side by side, they look pretty similar. I don't know. Like, I just think that could have brought a lot of like good press to the movie, I think.
A lot of hype.
Yeah, for sure. And instead they went with this I don't know if he's done anything else big. I didn't really look into him. Alden Ehrenreich.
My question is, why not just CGI onto his face? Harrison Ford. Come on now.
God.
Amateurs.
So this had a budget somewhere between 275 to 300 million and a box office of only 393.2 million, making it a big old floppy flop.
Yeah. As far as the movie goes, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take some notes, and then I didn't take notes because it's just such a like forgettable movie. Like, there's nothing to like. It didn't feel like a whole lot of substance. To me, it felt like they took a very generic heist movie and reskinned it as Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's basically, that's just how it felt. I had like 3 notes that I took. One of which was no scroll.
How did you feel about the pseudo scroll?
No, I didn't like it. If you're going to give me information in text, just give me the fucking scroll. Why are we not doing the scroll?
It makes sense for Rogue One, right? Because like you kind of already know the story of Rogue One. It has the exact same set. It would have the same scroll as
as A New Hope.
As A New Hope, yeah.
And it's like the thing is Rogue One doesn't give us any fucking text at the beginning. You're giving us text at the beginning of Solo. Just give us the fucking scroll. Why are we?
I also like It's a Lawless Time. People like the whole. I don't know why they chose hyperfuel as the thing that like everyone's trying to get in this, but like it's so not fun. Like people wanting gasoline is a Mad Max storyline, right? Like you can go watch Road Warrior, and that's like the main plot of Road Warrior is that people have a gas refinery, and that's actually a very valuable thing in that setting. Yeah. Whereas this is Star Wars, and this is apparently supposed to be like a criminal underground, and you're telling me everyone's fighting over gasoline.
Yeah.
Not spice. Not like, oh, there's a big spice shipment and we can get it. And then there's like some moral dilemma like, oh, do we sell these drugs that we stole? Or do we like get rid of them for the good of a small portion of the galaxy? Or it's
like just tie it into fucking like tie it into Rogue One and like the whole like, oh, we're powering the fucking Death Star with kyber crystals. Make it a whole fucking big ass shipment of kyber crystals or some shit. I don't know.
Or like they need kyber crystals for a different reason, but the Empire has been like buying them all up and like acquiring them all, you know, so someone wants you to go steal an Imperial shipment of kyber crystal because you can sell it at a premium on the black market, you know?
Yeah, but if they couldn't inject the fuel into the fusion fucking reactor, they couldn't have zoomed out of the fucking maelstrom.
Which is a major plot point. Not plot point, but like it's a pretty big aspect of
Han like bragging every time he made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Of Back to Mad Max, the most recent Mad Max movie, when they're basically like nosing their engines.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, where they what do? They like don't they like blow the fucking they
spit it into the intake or something like that.
Yeah. Dude, I need to rewatch that movie. Honestly, we should watch that movie, and that should be our next episode now that we're done with Star Wars. Let's watch Mad Max Fury Road and fucking.
I'm down for that.
All right,
because that's on like HBO, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I love that. That's on Max.
Didn't we see that movie together?
No, I saw that with like all the churchy boys because it was back in those.
Oh, you know what? I saw it with a bunch of the Tallahassee people. I think I saw it with Matt. A bunch of the Tallahassee people.
Yeah. I remember about a minute into the movie, someone sitting next to me did like an excited little like clap or something, and I literally moved across the theater from them because I was like, "You're fucking ruining this for me."
Shit. The only other note I had was somebody better give that Imperial recruiter some naming royalties. That's all I'm saying. Like, you're gonna tell me that's how Han Solo got his name? This random ass Imperial recruiter was like, "Oh, a lone guy, Han."
Dude,
Solo.
I don't know where I got this memory from, but I am fucking convinced that it has been like completely scrubbed from the internet. But there was like a teaser trailer, like one of those like 10-15 minute teasers. You know how they do those sometimes at like Comic-Cons or something like that?
Yeah.
Where Han and Beckett are like sitting around a fire, kind of like the scenes that we get in this movie. And he's like, "Kid, what's your name?" or something like that. And he's like, H4N. And he's like, H4N? I'm not calling you that. I'll call you Han. I'll call you Han, you know, or something like that. And I've tried so hard to find that, and I cannot find it anywhere. And I'm like, I'm convinced I did not make this up, but maybe it's like a Berenstein Bears thing where I'm like, I have a false memory that my brain made. Disney Corporation is gaslighting me. I'm convinced.
Like
Yeah, I
now
cannot find that anywhere.
I'm gonna scour the web till I find it now. But yeah.
All right, I just have one final note about production, which is that Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, purportedly left the project over, quote, creative differences, which is the same thing we've heard whenever Lucasfilm has fired people before. Apparently, something that they didn't like was the amount of studio interference with what they were doing. Lawrence Kasdan was sitting in on their filming and like shadow directing. And they weren't really having it. So I think things came to a head and I think there was probably some ultimatum from Lucasfilm that was like, do things our way or the highway. And they went, okay, bye. And they went off and made an award-winning animated film. And Lucasfilm brought in Todd Howard and flopped this.
Yeah.
But just kind of like keep in mind that like there were studio demands that ended up playing heavily on this. Another thing that people have kind of talked about is that part of these studio demands were fan service. It has to have more fan service because remember, this movie is coming out after The Last Jedi.
Yep.
Which fans did not like. Literally is the movie that people to this day are like, it drove a wedge in the fan base and it ruined Star Wars. So coming off of the heels of that, they were like, oh, we have to make a movie that the fans like, that like reunites the fans.
Yeah.
So.
Well, but sure as shit wasn't Solo.
That done. We can kind of get into the details of the movie here, which obviously, if you listen to this, you know we're gonna spoil it. So we're gonna fucking spoil some shit.
Yeah.
Kind of in the same way that you were talking about. I watched this again. And after I watched it, I was like, I kind of want to ask some other people that have seen this, like, what they thought of it. So I asked Shelby. I was like, what do you remember at? And you remember liking it and disliking it? And she's like, I don't remember it whatsoever. And I'm like, you don't remember anything of it? And she's like, no, nothing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I went to our friend Alex, Lex, and I was like, do you like, what's your unabridged raw thoughts on Solo? And he just went, I liked it. So like some people do like it, and I think that if you're a fan who's fine with like fan service,
yeah,
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If you're fine with that, I think that there's a lot to like in this movie. But if you're me and you feel like fan service makes the universe smaller because they're like, it's a huge galaxy and there's all these characters to draw from, and like Bosk gets mentioned, like everyone has access to Bosk, who's apparently like in the top 5 of assassins / bounty hunters, to the degree that whenever Darth Vader needs bounty hunters, he calls up these 5 or 6 people. You're telling me like some random thieves can call on Bosk for stuff? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And then like Beckett gets a line that like apparently he killed Aura Singh. He pushed her off of something and she didn't survive. Like, if you know who Aura Singh is, she features pretty heavily in a lot of like, I think she comes into like maybe not Rebels, but definitely Clone Wars at some point, because after Boba Fett's dad dies, she trains Boba Fett to be a bounty hunter. But like, they killed her off screen. They could have used her in this movie as a henchwoman and killed her in the movie.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she could have been one of the big bad guys, like, hench people. And it would have had like more gravitas to the scene, because you're like, oh, that's a named character right there. I've seen her before. Or you as a fan can be like, oh, that's a character that we haven't seen a ton of before, and now here she is in this like live live action role.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the fan service, it just comes across to me as like fan service without endearment. Like I never was like, oh, Aura Singh, I know her, and was like happy about it, you know? Like it's fan service to a painful degree.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis is one of the freedom fighters at the end of the movie. And then, like, if you're a ding dong and you read up on the movie or the cameos in this movie, it turns out that he's actually playing the same character in this cameo as he was playing in his cameo in Phantom Menace. And you're like, I hate that. God. Like, all the cameos almost become distracting. You got, like, Warwick Davis, you got Anthony Daniels, mentioning Aura Singh and Bosk.
Woody Harrelson. I mean, it's not a cameo, but it's a casting. But
he's one of the only characters that I like, though, in this movie.
Yeah.
And he ultimately feels a little squandered because you and I both know that Woody Harrelson is an actor who can give a scene some gravitas, and yet for some reason he's just not utilized well.
Yeah, I think one of my things is, to me...
Jon Favreau plays the pilot monkey guy.
Oh, yeah. My thing is, like, we've gotten to a point, I mean, obviously Star Wars is so big now, it's just like they're trying to cast these big, recognizable names, but, like, how... Think about it from, like, the beginning, like, with A New Hope and everything, like... Were any of them really recognizable? Like, did you really have these, like, big names coming in to, like, act in it? It just feels...
I mean, Harrison Ford had kind of had a success. Like, I know he was kind of well-liked.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mark Hamill had, like, done anything massive before this. Carrie Fisher was the daughter of two prominent performers. So it's not necessarily that she had done anything insane, but she had some, you know, slight nepotism going for her. But Star Wars also wasn't like a big production either.
Yeah.
It had some studio money behind it, but like it wasn't huge.
Yeah, exactly. I guess technically they're saying the Harrison Ford's first major movie was 4 years prior to Star Wars, which was American Graffiti.
Yeah.
Budget of
him and George Lucas knew each other.
Yeah, budget of $777,000, box office of $140 million.
Yeah.
Talk about a fucking return on investment there.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I guess he
that would have been George Lucas coming hot off the tails of working with Steven Spielberg and the two of them helping out Akira Kurosawa make his films.
Yeah. But, I mean, really, when you look at it, he's still like, yeah, he had started one major movie, but he only had one movie in between American Graffiti and Star Wars, which was The Conversation, which also did pretty well.
Yeah.
But
it's funny, though, like, when you think about it, how much of an effect Lucasfilm had on Harrison Ford's career, because, again, American Graffiti, Star Wars, Indiana Jones... all three of his like big breakout things were Lucasfilm productions. And then like around the same time that he was doing, I think, Return of the Jedi, he's also in Blade Runner, which Blade Runner when it first came out was not like super broadly well received. It was kind of like you get it or you don't get it, you know. But that's a Ridley Scott production. So,
yeah,
he had a lot of good things going for him.
Definitely.
And then he went off and made like 100 of those. Oh man, what are they? The Jack Ryan movies or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the writer for those? Tom Clancy.
Yeah, Tom Clancy.
Like 100 Tom Clancy movies.
Yeah. I like the Jack Ryan Amazon series. It's pretty tight with John Krasinski.
Wow, you support Amazon.
You're damn right. Daddy Bezos gives me the goods, you know.
Bops that bussy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get back. Let's center ourselves.
One more thing though. Was not aware. I didn't know that Pixar was once a division of Lucasfilms.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so apparently Pixar was a former division of Lucasfilm and was sold to Steve Jobs in 1986. So Lucasfilm
sold Pixar to Steve Jobs, who sold it to Disney.
Yeah.
Who then got rid of John Lasseter, who went to go work for Apple.
It's so wild how intertwined it is.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And and they also are the ones, like Lucasfilm itself developed the THX theater sound system.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty wild. Yeah, that's a fun fact I didn't realize. And so
Lucasfilm and whatever their computer graphics stuff division. Mm-hmm. I forget what the name of it is, but they're actually
Turner Optical.
Yeah, they
practical effects division.
They did effects for like way more movies than you would believe.
Yeah.
To get back to Solo though, another kind of big gripe I had was that it's very tonally inconsistent, right? So let's talk about like the Kessel jailbreak or whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you get, what's her name? L3?
Yeah, I think it's L3.
Yeah, so L3 is coming out, and then she gets like gunned down, like she's a droid martyr or something. And Lando does that like pretty nifty little run, which I thought had some cool practical effects going on there. Mm-hmm. And then he like, it's like a, you know that scene in Tropic Thunder that the movie opens up with, where he's like, "You ain't got no arms." His arms are like spaghetti meat. It felt like that, right? Like he does this action run through a bunch of explosions and stuff, and he picks up his fallen comrade, or in this case, his lover, and he's like, "No, I'll save you. I'll get you back to the ship." And he like picks her up, and her fucking guts fall out, and you're like, I remember when we watched this in the theater, I remember laughing at that point and feeling like I shouldn't be laughing, right? Like it doesn't feel like you're supposed to laugh at that point, but I fucking laughed because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was.
It felt like something you'd see in like Warhammer 40K, like a really grimdark scene where like two guardsmen, or I mean fucking Tropic Thunder does it perfect, where it's like runs over to him, picks him up, and is like, his arms are spaghetti meat, you know? But if they had taken that to the next level, and it's like he tried to pick him up and like all of his fucking intestines fell out or something, like that's the same degree of what we saw with the droid, right? Like he rips her upper half off, ends up like trying to carry her back, gets like gunned down, and like you have this like death scene right there, right? Or like she dies right there, but then like they get her into the ship, and then you watch like another death scene, which now is supposed to have gravitas to it. Like the music is different. There's no action run. It's just him going like, no, you know, and you're like, why? First off, you can't have two fucking death scenes for the robot, right? Like one of these needed to be edited out.
Yeah.
Second, you then like rip her brain out and like plug it into the Millennium Falcon, and that explains one line in a technically later version of the character's history, where a droid talks to the computer and goes, "Your computer has the most unusual dialect." Like, they did all of that to explain why C-3PO in an eventual movie goes, your ship computer talk funny.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The amount, like the lengths they went to try and explain every single line in a later movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like also there's that like tonal inconsistency. First death, very funny, made me laugh. Second death, supposed to be very serious, heartbreaking for Lando. Then there's like the cringy dialogue, like forced joke kind of moments, like towards the end after they've got the fuel and it's being refined or whatever, and the Marauders or whoever show up, and he's like, "Don't worry, I got this," and he does the fucking wink at Woody Harrelson and then walks up and he's like, "We've got 30 hired guns in that freighter over there," and then punchline, ship flies off, and you almost feel like the only thing missing is like cue laugh track.
Yeah.
You know, like I honestly think if there had been a laugh track at that moment, it would have fucking worked better. Like that's, I don't know. Like they either needed to cut the humor out and just make it a serious movie, or they needed to put more humor in and make it like a hijinks heist movie.
Yeah.
Which is maybe the inconsistencies are coming from like Phil Lord and Christopher Miller being comedy guys that were brought in to make a comedy heist movie, and then having to turn around and bring in Todd Howard and make just like a normal movie with an absurd amount of fan service.
Yeah.
God, man. I hate L3 as a character.
Yeah, not a fan.
She comes across as smug. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was, I don't know, it was some of the dialogue with her was kind of weird. Like I think the interaction with the droid that's like manning the surveillance like system in the
like the first one she pops the restraining bolt off of, and it's like you don't hear it talk, you hear her responses, and she's like, "What should you do now? I don't care." Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's like, "Oh, she's like, you're liberated. Go free your friends or something."
Yeah, I don't care. Go, I don't know, free your friends or something. Yeah, like
that it just doesn't. That doesn't feel like a droid talking. It feels like lines delivered by a human for a droid.
I don't know if it's supposed to be a commentary on like activism or something, but like freeing that droid and then that line of dialogue is just so like, yeah, you're free. I don't care what you do now. Like, I cared when you were oppressed. Now that you're free and have no purpose, fuck off. Like, that's what it feels like. And it's so, I don't know. Like, on the one hand, if you're like, I don't know how to take that line other than just like an out of place commentary on like social activism.
Yeah, it made me think of the like Rick and Morty, the robot, the butter serving robot, where he's like, "What is my function?" And Rick's just like to like spread butter or whatever.
Never seen it, but kind of another meme is the just learn to code.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that one?
No.
All right, so there was like some journos that were like, "Oh, the West Virginia mining economy is like collapsing because America's outsourcing all of its mining. So there's all these miners that don't have jobs. Just learn to code," was basically their thing. Like, oh yeah, just teach these guys that have been working with their hands for like, I mean, West Virginia's got a history going back to like the fucking 1700s probably for mining. Yeah, just learn to code.
Yeah, just use a computer. Just learn to develop the skills.
You've got 30, 40 years mining because you've been doing it since you were like 16 years old. Just learn a
Yeah.
code. Like, tone deaf, preposterous sort of thing. Like, oh yeah, take your purpose from you. Well, now that I have no purpose, what do I do? I don't know. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like they want you to like her character, right? Because she has that conversation with Kira where she's like, yeah, Lando's in love with me, but like, I don't care. Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, Kira's reaction to that conversation is like, oh, isn't that sweet? But like, me watching it, I'm like,
No.
that's kind of fucking mean.
Kind of weird.
She sounds mean, you know? Yeah,
Yeah.
not even to get into the logistics of human droid relationships, which I feel like a lot of people would be like, let's dive into that, you know, but like, I just don't even want to fucking
Listen,
talk about it.
Star Wars
You know-
was just pulling a Baldur's Gate. They went, hey, how can we broaden our audience?
Instead of a bear,
Baldur's Gate said bestiality. Star Wars said the dudes who want to fuck robots in the coming years when the AI and the androids
Yeah.
take over.
the fucking mecrophiliacs. Yeah.
So the necrophiliacs. Yeah, I like that. I have not heard that one, but yeah.
I
That's funny.
jokingly, I think like probably 10 years ago, I had a freaking Tumblr URL that was like mecrophiliac, and I would just reblog pictures of like Gundams or something.
Oh, shit.
Robot love.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't care. To take that though and be like, oh, here's a female, to use the language, a female coded robot. And then be like, yes, because Lando is in love with this female coded robot, he's pansexual. And then they like tried to sell that. Do you remember that? They were like trying to sell the movie on Lando's pansexual now.
I remember there being a whole conversation about that because they were just like, yeah, the man loves a robot.
He's pansexual because he loves a robot. Yeah, but the robot is a woman.
Yeah.
So that which you call a rose by any other name would smell like
Listen,
feet, you know, that
listen.
kind of thing.
If I was living in the Star Wars universe, I'd be pansexual because I'd be fucking all that alien pussy. Let's be real.
Trying to get that Twi'lekusi.
Hey, girl, what them tentacles do?
What them Leku do?
Shit. All right, let me get up in there, Jabba the Hutt.
I can see Shelby from where I'm sitting, and she doesn't seem pleased about this conversation. Shelby,
We're talking about fucking aliens.
if aliens were real, and you could do the sex with them, and you and I weren't together, would you try to find like an alien to do the sex with? Her answer was what? So she clearly doesn't care.
I think
Trying to
anyone's.
ask, are you an alien phobe?
I think anyone's answer to this question, unless you're ultra Christian, would be yes.
She said it depends on what the alien looks like.
See,
so...
fair, but that's not a no. That means yeah, like, you know, because there's some hot aliens and there's some not hot aliens.
Yeah, you gonna try and tell me that whatever what's the guy that whatever Dave Filoni has going on with him for Ahsoka Tano, you're gonna try and tell me that he's not allowed to love her the way he clearly wants to love her?
Does Dave Filoni have a thing for Ahsoka?
Nah, people always say that he
Did he create Ahsoka?
yes.
Is this like a
Ahsoka is his Star Wars OC.
Is there like a this is like an Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece. So have you heard like you created One Piece and like you have your main girl Nami, on the crew. So like Nami, like she's
she got a big old booba, right?
yeah, she had the big old booba.
Because she an anime girl and she got a big old booba, and every season her booba get bigger.
Yep, and he changes up the clothes for all. Like that's one cool thing about the anime is like their wardrobe's constantly changing. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah. So he puts her in all kinds of sexy fits. This man drew. He created his waifu. He created his ideal woman. And then what did this man do? Okay, so One Piece got big, and then they got like some live action show, not like the Netflix show, but they had like some like.
Oh no! And he got his favorite Jav actress to play her.
They had this like live show that became a thing, and like he knew exactly what actress he wanted. She got casted as Nami. She loved the role. And then they fell in love and got married. This man created his waifu, cast the real version of his waifu, and then married her. He is living every weeb's dream.
Holy shit.
He did it.
That's gotta be like actualization, real life. If you say it, it will become true.
Yes, he manifested that shit. So, yes. Oda, don't underestimate his power.
Bro, he said, this is my chance, and he fucking took it.
No, for real. He fucking did it. What a guy.
Could you imagine? Oh no, we don't have any single friends anymore.
Oh, we don't.
Fuck.
Holy shit.
We
really don't.
What the fuck? Damn it.
Yeah,
I was gonna make a joke about like someone we knew and be like, what if their favorite actress was Scarlett Johansson, and then they wrote a movie and there was like, this character has to be played by her, and then like fucking swooped in there and like
married her?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Hey,
that would be crazy.
Hey, no, we
what'd you like about this movie? Because I will say, there are cool scenes in the movie. I think I had asked you before. I was like, I think when you watch this movie, there's going to be one scene in particular that you know is my favorite scene, and I think is actually like a good, cool scene. And I think you'll be able to tell me which one I like the most.
Oh, fuck, I don't know.
Think about it.
I'm thinking.
Think about me. Who am I? What do I like?
Trains. It's the train scene.
Oh my god. No. The fucking war scene. Where it's like, I'm gonna be a pilot, and then it cuts to him. And like, I don't even think there's trenches. It's just like a dirt field, and there's like bombs going off.
They're just in the fucking mud.
Yeah. I think they're called mud troopers.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually think they are. I think that is what they're referenced as in there.
It's so fucking cool when you see the transport drop an ATST in. That was some cool shit. And then I think he's supposed to be like a lieutenant or something, or a captain or a sergeant or something. He's like, push over that rise, and then just gets fucking mortared.
Yeah, that should have just been like 60-70% of the movie should have just been Han out in the fucking trenches.
I don't know why they don't make like a legit war movie out of this freaking stuff.
That'd be fucking sick. Just an actual Star, just a war. Like, give us the war part of Star Wars. How about it,
dude? Give us a fucking Clone Wars movie.
Just
that is centered around a clone commando squad, and then they pick up one dingleberry clone trooper.
Just give us
the clone trooper's like, I am out of my fucking depth. You guys are commandos, and they're like, no, you're coming with us. Let's fucking do this shit. There's like a 1 in a million chance that we get this done, but if we don't get it done, all of the Republic forces on this planet are gonna die. Like.
Yeah.
Those are the stakes. We got to get it done. And it's just like an old school World War II movie. Like, we got to defend the bridge kind of movie.
Just give me saving Private Cody.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I was literally about to be like a Saving Private Ryan type movie. Where
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it opens on fucking D-Day, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm sure you remember the opening scene of the Clone Commando game where like you're flying in on the transport. Okay, not the opening scene because that's like you going from that to being trained and all that. Ignore all that. But where they're dropping in the transports and like the doors on yours opens and you see there's like 3 or 4 other transports out the side. And then the one right next to you gets hit by a rocket and just goes down and you watch all the clones fucking explode. Like that level of stuff. Almost like the opening of Force Awakens, right? Where it's like they drop in on the ship and the lights are going and the doors open, they all run out, blam, 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 you know? And you've got like a squad of clone troopers and they get fucking rocked. Like one of them's left and he's like fighting to the fucking death against like super battle droids and things look totally out of his depth. And then one of them just fucking explodes as it's about to like execute him basically. And you turn around, cut to a bunch of clone commandos coming in with like vibro blades. Like one guy's just like drops in and like shanks a fucking droid to death and there's like oil spraying out all over his visor and shit. And then like another one is just like sniping from the background and the other two like it's like covering fire and then like the freaking squad leader like picks the clone up and is like I don't know, something akin to like a Starship Troopers line, like you apes want to live together, like something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Sticks his gun back in his hand and is like, let's fucking go.
I just give me this like, I don't know, just give me this high stakes stormtrooper war movie where they're having to pull off some against all odds type shit and protect something or do whatever. But then at the end, the twist is like you have like Ahsoka or some Jedi drop in and just like slaughter all of them.
Oh yeah,
that'd be great. Like the twist is like, oh yeah, like you're rooting for these dudes the whole time. You're rooting for these stormtroopers. They're against all odds. They're trying to pull off some shit, and it's like, yeah, make it like some sort of ambiguous goal where it's not like they're not like trying to actively do something that's going to harm rebels or harm citizens or do whatever. But you know, something that like. It could be viewed as like
something that kind of subverts your expectation, right? Where it's like, oh, these are Imperial citizens, like these are people who actually kind of appreciate us, and they're being like bombed by, you know, saboteurs
by the rebels
or something.
Yeah, yeah. Just you give us the whole fucking the whole thing that they're trying to be like, oh, the good guys are bad guys too.
I mean, that's almost what they're doing with Andor with what's his name's character.
Yeah.
Where you've got the intelligence officer and she's like really freaking cool and competent. And then you've got like the dude who was security and like sticking his nose in things that everyone else is like, hey, stop it. You're going to get us in trouble. And then, I mean, who saves her at the end of the freaking show is like he shows up and like pulls her out of the fucking street. There's like blood in the streets, and like it's just fucking cool.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why you do this whole thing, and then right at the end you like you just throw some Jedi at them. You throw like Ahsoka or someone. You're just like, oh shit, like now who? Like you make people feel torn. You make people like, okay, like who am I supposed to be rooting for here? You make it a very I don't know. Look, you and I sat here and in like 5-10 minutes, we just came up with the entire, a whole fucking. We just wrote a whole plot for a fucking banger of a Star Wars movie. Yeah. Disney should just hire us.
Because like you don't even need. What's the plot of Saving Private Ryan? They show up on the beaches of Normandy, and then. It turns out that another dude who none of them know, like all 3 of his brothers have died or something like that. I can't really remember. Yep. And so he's like the last living son, and it's like, oh, he has to like go back because he's the only son or whatever.
Yeah.
And And that's the plot of the movie. Then it's just like the adventure of them going from point A to point B. When they get to point B, he's like, "Oh, I can't leave. Like, we're defending this spot, and if we lose this bridge, then like our entire force can get wiped out." And they're like, "Well, you have to live no matter what. So like, we're gonna defend this, but if shit goes to hell, blow the bridge and leave." And that's what happens.
Yeah.
They all die so that he can live.
Wild. Yeah. No. That'd be a great movie. I'd watch it.
Yeah, it also makes sense with the name of the franchise, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, that's... Like, my favorite scenes in Rogue One, right, is the beach fight at the end, where they all know they're gonna die, but they die for, like, a really meaningful kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The scene I like most in this movie is that war scene where, like, it's showing you how, like, violent and destructive this is, but then it sticks in some stupid commentary where, you know, Han's like, sir, aren't we the invaders? And you're like, oh, shut up. Like, look, Han's a rebel at heart. Like, that's the whole point of this movie, is them going over and over and over again, like, he's a free thinker. He's a rebel at heart. He keeps trying to rebel, you know? And you're like, but we already knew that about him. So there's no, like, growth in that character there, right? Like, his whole story arc in A New Hope is that he goes from being a smuggler who doesn't care about anything to being a willing participant in the rebellion. Whereas his arc in this is that he goes from incompetent thief who's trying to rebel against all forms of authority into a guy who has his own ship and is trying to rebel against all forms of authority.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being silly, but ultimately I don't think this movie needed to exist.
Nah. I think the real question is, for our Star Wars war movie, who is our main character going to be? Like, who's going to play our main character?
Well, it depends, because, like, what era are we setting it in? Because if it's a Clone Wars thing, then you just get 4 different voice actors.
Oh, no. We're going for stormtroopers. We're going for
stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Scott Eastwood. Actually, he was in a war movie that was really good.
Damn, yeah, you know what? He'd be great.
You've seen him, though?
I don't think I have, but damn, yeah. He's got a fucking jawline that can cut diamonds.
Oh, yeah. It says he was in Fast X.
Oh, shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, what? He was in a war movie? Was he in Dunkirk or something?
No, it was like a Netflix war movie about some guys in Afghanistan. The Outpost, 2020.
I have not seen that.
Scott Eastwood, Orlando Bloom, Caleb Landry Jones, a few other names you might recognize.
The Outpost got good reviews, but a lot of his other movies have been absolute garbage according to Rotten Tomatoes. He's got a lot of stinkers on here.
Like what? Pacific Rim Uprising? You know, like Pacific Rim 2?
It got a 42%. The Longest Ride, a 31%. There's a movie on here, Dawn Patrol, 0%.
Yeah, I feel like you can't blame the actor, though.
That's fair. But see, we could, with this, when Disney hires us for this movie...
Like, I'm looking at all these movies he's in hardly any of them the lead, right? In The Outpost, he was the lead.
He was the lead in Dawn Patrol. Now, granted, it has a 0% review from the critics.
What fucking year did Dawn Patrol come out? 2014?
2014. But it's only got 6 reviews. Now, audience score is only an 11%. So, to be fair, kind of checks out.
It says he was in Fury.
Also got like no fucking reviews.
Sergeant Miles and Fury. I haven't watched that movie in a while. I remember it being pretty good.
Well, he was in Gran Torino with his father.
Dude, I can't believe that movie came out in 2008.
Yeah, that was a minute ago.
We were still in high school.
Yeah.
Says he was in Suicide Squad. Who was he in Suicide Squad? Lieutenant GQ.
Oh, I don't know.
Eddie something or other. I don't know.
I think we get him. We get I was thinking Dacre Montgomery.
Who's that?
The dude from Stranger Things.
How do you spell it?
Dacre Montgomery. He's an Australian actor.
Oh yeah.
We just get like this like all-star cast to play our
So the two
squad of
of them-
stormtroopers.
Stephen Yun.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to think like how we can appeal to modern audiences. A female stormtrooper?
Yeah, definitely.
Who would make a good female stormtrooper?
Ronda Rousey.
Lupita Nyong'o. No, because they'd be like, "Oh, you just made another black stormtrooper. This is just like Finn, but a girl." That's what people would say. So we got to pick someone else. What's her name? From like Rodriguez. What's her name? Rodriguez.
I have no idea.
You know, from like Fast and Furious and
Oh, dude, she'd be awesome. I know who you're talking about.
yeah, she's like the heavy weapons expert.
That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is her name? Hold on. I got it. It's got to be here. She was in the original, right? Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, she would be awesome.
And Maya Hawke.
Maya Hawke, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I'd be down for Maya Hawke too.
She's a love interest
Yeah.
for someone. I don't know who.
You know what? Maya Hawke would be pretty badass. I feel like she could pull that shit off.
Yeah.
And
But
then,
they need like a gristled, like hard ass lieutenant or something. Who would play that? I want an actor in like their 50s or 60s for that. And all
get
he
her
ever
dad.
talks about
Just
is,
get
like, the
just
Clone
get
Wars.
get Ethan Hawke to do it.
Ethan Hawke. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I feel like he could pull that shit off.
Oh no.
Jeff Bridges.
Oh, frick. What's his name? You know, from like Luther.
Fuck. Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah.
And he doesn't wear the stormtrooper armor. He's always in the like commander like clothing set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got our cast right there. You know, time to send. We just let's send out some feelers. You know, send out some emails to some management.
Yeah. Somehow we got to figure out how to make it female led though. So one of like Michelle Rodriguez would have to be the lead somehow.
Okay. Yeah. See, that'd be such a badass movie.
Yeah. Because you're thinking about all those characters and you're like, how do these people even fit together? Like, you're
Their
interested
squad.
just in the casting because you're like, these people are so different from each other.
Yeah.
God, I wish that was a movie now. I'm like legitimately a little frustrated.
Yeah. I'd go. I'd pay to see that. Probably 4 times, maybe 5.
Who's the guy that made all of the DC stuff until recently?
You're talking about James? Is that James Gunn?
No, before James Gunn.
Oh, Snyder, Zack Snyder. Right?
Yeah.
The whole thing's
Have
like
you
the Snyder cut.
seen his movie that's or I think it's a 2-parter that's coming out.
Nope.
So he had written up a script or movie kind of thing for Star Wars, and he'd been in talks with them about it, and ultimately got shot down because he wanted to make an R-rated Star Wars movie. And I think Lucasfilm said, over our dead body. So he has made a movie that's coming out apparently December 22nd, 2023, called Rebel Moon. Have you heard about this?
No.
So just going off the Wikipedia page here, Rebel Moon, also known as Rebel Moon Part 1, is an upcoming American epic space opera film directed by Zack Snyder from a screenplay he co-wrote with Kurt Johnstad and Shay Hatton based on a story he also created. It's going to be distributed by Netflix. It features an ensemble cast that features Sophia Boutella, Charlie Hunnam, I think it's Michiel Huisman, I don't know. Jimon Honsu, Duna Bay, Ray Fisher, Cleopatra Coleman, Jenna Malone, Free. There's no way I said that right.
Frothy.
Anthony Hopkins
is in this. Yeah, see, I'm sold. This got me intrigued.
Here's the premise. In a universe controlled by the corrupt government of the Motherworld, the moon of Velt is threatened by the forces of the Imperium. The army of the Motherworld, controlled by Regent Belisarius. Cora, a former member of the Imperium who seeks redemption for her past in the leadership of the oppressive government, tasks herself to recruit warriors from across the galaxy to make a stand against the Motherworld's forces before they return to the planet. Like, it sounds very Star Warsy.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how it actually plays out. I think there is a trailer out for this. Or at least a teaser trailer.
There's a teaser out for it.
And I'm pretty sure I don't know if they're allowed to call them lightsabers, but there's like lightsabers in it. So.
Laser swords. Nope. Yeah. Curious to see how that goes. But
yeah.
Well, sweet.
God, listen to the names of the characters though. Cora, General Titus, Kai, Gunner, Tarek, Nemesis, a cyborg swordmaster, Darian Bloodaxe, Devra Bloodaxe. These names are cool.
Yeah.
Do you like Zack Snyder as a movie maker?
I see. Nothing really comes to mind, like off rip, when you say his name. So I'm just kind of like, maybe.
300?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, then yeah. That's right. I forgot he did
Man
that.
of Steel.
Never saw it. I haven't seen like any DC movies. I'm just meh.
Yeah.
Oh, he did Watchmen. Sucker Punch.
So this is one, yeah, I was about to mention Sucker Punch because I'm definitely in the minority of people who watch Sucker Punch. I freaking love that movie.
Yeah. I think I ever really watched it and paid attention to it. My little sister was like obsessed with that movie for a while.
Yeah, I mean, she was a little edgelord, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another movie that I feel like the overall story, a lot of people would be like, the overall story for this is not good, but I'd be like, actually, it's very fun. It's just one of those like Hamlet kind of things where it's like, oh, there's like a story within a story within a story going on here.
Yeah.
A lot of discussion on roles and role playing, like characters and reality. You know, there's a lot of conversation about that going on in that movie. I really like it. I would highly recommend it. Most people probably won't like it though.
Yeah.
God, there's a trench warfare scene in that movie too, now that I think about it.
Well, I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, I think we've also been going for like 2 hours now.
Yeah, we're coming up on 2 hours. So, I mean, hey, we came in with like next to nothing, and we really
talking for way longer than we thought we would.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1:40. Good God.
Shit.
All right. Well, that'll be it for this week. Again, if you want to yell at us about whether or not people with dwarfism should be allowed to play dwarves, you can email us at cryptidworksofficial@gmail.com, and I will most likely talk about it in the next episode or whenever you want to do that.
Yeah. And if you want to help fund our Star Wars War movie passion project, please subscribe to our Patreon. If you do, we'll be giving you some credits in the credits of the film when it gets produced finally.
The first person to join, we'll give them an executive producer credit.
Yes. Yep.
God, what else?
Big shout out and thank you to Carl Casey once again for allowing us to use this
by
music.
Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Look him up.
Good shit.
Okay, bye-bye. I love you.